name's Doug Courtney. This is Coffee with a Coach podcast. This is just an introduction of what the podcast's about, what I'm about, and what we're trying to get out of the podcast. My name's Doug Courtney. In 2017, I came up with an idea of Coffee with a Coach. It was in its infancy. I just wanted to try and connect with some coaches, talk to some coaches. Then life got in the way. 2000 and I think it was 21, at a basketball tournament, and a few coaches were talking about coaches' health and well-being. What stress releases do they do? How can we get together and come up with something that could help coaches out? And I had an idea of possibly coming up with an app, so I wrote some things down. Skip along to 2023, September 9th, 2023, I had a heart attack. That was on a Saturday. On a Sunday, Saturday night, I was flown to Waikato Hospital. On a Monday, I had an angiogram, and it showed that I had my 3 arteries were severely blocked. One was 90%, the other was 95%, and a third one was 80% blocked. So obviously, when I got that news, I didn't know what to think. I didn't know, one, what was going to happen. Once I had the angiogram, they told me that I needed a bypass surgery, but trying to get my head around that was pretty tough. I spent the first week wondering why it had happened. Talked to doctors, possibly hereditary. At that time, my wife and I were training towards an event, a physical event in Rarotonga, some biking and swimming, and so I was in reasonable health. I'd like to say, obviously coaching as well, and really excited about the up and coming secondary schools nationals, because I thought we had a pretty good shot to make top 4 and go all the way. But I was in hospital, so trying to get my head around what was happening. Obviously explaining to my family what was going on, and I didn't know what to do. I was stressed out. What am I going to do for work? How's that going to happen? Taking time off. So I had a few things going on, and then my mental health wasn't that great, because I was thinking about, how do I do all of these things and continue to do what I wanted to do. I was in the Waikato Hospital for 40 days. Pretty stressful time, not just for me, but for my family. So I was thinking, what am I going to do? So I started to read, I started to write. So I put together a bit of a blog, and I'm up to slide 202 now, continuing it on. So that was part of the process to release some of that stress that I was going through, because I couldn't do anything physically, because usually when I get a little bit stressed, I'd go out and do some activity, go to the gym, ride a bike, go for a small run, things of that nature. So I had to find other ways to put all my thoughts, feelings and emotions somewhere, so I started writing. Another thing that I started to do is read a lot. When I say a lot, maybe a couple of books. Throughout that time, I was in hospital, and some more obviously after. The other thought I came back to was 2017, 2021, Coffee with a Coach. So instead of an app, um, come up with an idea of podcasting, connecting with coaches, and then just trying to talk to them and have another person to listen to them in terms of what issues do they have during the season, post season, and while I was reading, I come across a couple of articles um, about some studies that had been done, and one comes to mind that really sort of resonated with me was like, what are the issues, um, what social connection do they have? Do they have what sort of support group do they have around them? And then what do they do outside the game? So as I was reading and in hospital, that sort of took my mind away and my stress away from what was actually happening, what I was going through. So it was really good for me to start doing something with my mind, because physically I couldn't do anything at that stage. With the help of my friends around me and obviously my family, trying to put something together, and I wanted to do something um, with the Coffee with a Coach. I wanted to connect with people. Sort of quite fortunate that it come around at the time where on the horizon I'm involved with the NBL again, so that gives me an opportunity to talk to a few coaches that I know, and try and talk about things that they do to help them in situations. Who was their mentor? What issues do you deal with? What do you do outside of basketball to help you as a person? And that's what I felt. There's a lot of things out there for players, mindfulness, things to help players sort of reduce their physical stress, obviously their mental stress as well. So I wanted to just capture it, especially what I was going through with my bypass surgery. Had my bypass surgery on the 18th of October, which was in Auckland. Very anxious, very apprehensive about the whole thing. But I just wanted to make sure that my mind was okay, and obviously trying to be as strong as I can, not just for myself, so for my family, because they were all pretty much on that operating theatre with me, really finding out how I was feeling, what's going on. The majority of the time, a majority of them were in the meetings with me when I'm with the anaesthetists or the surgeon or the doctors or the cardiac nurse, listening to information about it. It was quite funny. We were in the foyer at the Waikato Hospital, and one of the surgeons came in, and he was talking to me, and my niece and her family were there. Myself, my wife, my eldest son, his partner, and the surgeon started to discuss arteries that we were taking out from my arm, from my leg, from the backside of my heart and my chest wall, and their faces. Oh man, it was. I can giggle a little bit about it now, but at that time, like, everyone was going, "Oh my goodness, is this happening?" So what we went through was crazy at the time, and then for me trying to find ways to deal with those stressful moments and the things that I was going through, and trying to find solutions to everything, really. Not just physically, but for my work, for my wife's work, insurances. It's a whole nother Korero there. So I just wanted to give you an idea of where this is coming from. Um, it's coming from a space where how do we deal with stress, and then with coaches, there's different kind of stress, and then what do they do about it, and I just want to have a korero with them and share my story, and then hopefully they share theirs, um, going through the season, pre-season and post-season. Yeah, so kia ora, catch you soon.